Hey girl, my name is Anel. Welcome to the Brave in Her podcast, where we inspire, empower, and motivate by sharing our stories of bravery. I strongly believe that by sharing our stories, we open ourselves to healing, but also serve to give hope and inspiration to those who are dealing with a tough situation. We will talk about all topics under the sun. Now let's hear your stories of bravery. Hey girl, thanks for being here. On today's episode, we have my friend Stacy Trujeque. She is a mom, a fiance, and the author of Exalt Her, 12 Ways to Unleashing Your Unstoppable Beauty. Hi, Stacy. How are you?
Hi, Anel. I'm so great. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here to tell us about your story and your journey. And talk about your book.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So do you want to start by giving us, your background, a little bit about you, your story?
Yeah, sure. So I am, yes, as you said, the author of Exalt Her. And Exalt Her was actually just a blog or a place where I was sharing like inspirational quotes or things that I was just motivating, or that was motivating to me. And actually it was born out of a process when I was in school. I was a women's studies major back in college, and I always knew that I wanted to, be in the realm of motivating and inspiring women, but at the same time trying to figure out how to motivate and inspire myself. And I think that's sometimes the way that we take our journeys on is, the deepest struggles or things that we're deep diving in, that's what we're actually getting to share. And when we get to a point we feel like, oh, wait, we've mastered this area in some ways, or also, I'm so different than how I was maybe a decade ago. And like, how can I help that girl that was just like me move faster to this place? So when I was saying, I guess the difficulties I was dealing with was just depression, beauty and confidence issues, or trying to figure out how to be more confident in who I was intimately, in relationships especially. And I was just getting toxic relationships over and over and over into my life. And I just realized that who I really have a message for is people that either, that is similar like me, that's not feeling like themselves, that feel like they can't be fully who they are. And that is where Exalt Her was born. I just realized that I want to help other women emerge more and more of who they are. So where I came is I got to a place where I finally was like, okay, wait a minute. When I show up exactly who I am able to attract the people that are meant for me in my life.
Yes.
Be it friends, relationships, desires that I have. But when I'm not real about that, and it's not that you don't want to be real, it's just like sometimes you just don't know how to bring that to the surface, or it's a very vulnerable thing to be completely who you are.
Yeah.
But when you're not, you just like don't match the things that are attracted to you. And then when they come and they're around you and in your area, you don't know how to keep those things in your life, or actually sometimes they're just not good for you because they don't match who you are and who you're being. So in that's really where Exalt Her was born, where I just I love to help other women go through that process, or at least share the tools that I had or that I learned over the last decade to really figure out how to emerge who they are. And that's internally and outside, and use our physical beauty along with our inner beauty to really attract who we are, who we want in our life, and attract the things that we want, our goals, go after everything that it is that we want. So that's what the book is about.
So first I want to say, I'm really proud that you are, my friend, and you're coming out and sharing your story because, like this, one of the reasons I launched this podcast is to share stories of, women and through their, their struggles, and, to inspire other women. And maybe, a lot of women don't talk about these struggles that you just described because they feel shame, or because they don't know, or not, they don't know, but they're not aware of other women going through those things. And, by you sharing, you're showing that, hey, I've gone through that too. And, I gone through it and now I'm, good, or I'm better, or this is how I did it. So, you're just inspiring them and, to unleash their beauty.
Yes. And, for unleashing beauty, I love, like, it was hard to kind of come up with that term, but I want people to know that it's not necessarily just like, oh, you want to be more beautiful. It's more of like a beautiful state. So, like a state of beauty is, yes, physically, we want to attract, of course, the people that we want to attract. And then also we want to feel confident, and you should feel confident in that. And there's ways to do that as well. But, someone that's like smiling in their joy, like so passionate, they are like, they just come alive and they have that glow. And I know that that's what people are like, okay, how can I be that way? It's really in your joy, in your passion, and bringing those things out. And I love to like reference the beauty that I'm talking about by like a sunset. So something that feeds, like, when you're in someone's presence, like someone that you love, or someone that you admire, or that you think is beautiful, there's two things that can happen. Sometimes you feel like a woman's beauty, like as they're striving for it. They're trying hard, and they're putting on this mask. And then the other side is someone that's in their joy, like, and that you're okay in your presence. It's like that presence where you feel like she'll give you your crown, and you can have her, you can see her crown too. And it's like, you feel that presence of like iron sharpening iron, like she just sharpens you when you're in her presence. And that's how like sunsets and other things that we find beautiful in nature does for us. Like when we see it, we feel warm, we feel excited, we feel nice inside. And that's what I want people to bring out of themselves, just like that beautiful state. So it can like just kind of keep on transferring out to the people that are around you.
Like genuinely beautiful, like not necessarily like, the outside, but the inside, just feeling, I guess, comfortable and satisfied with yourself.
Yes. So so like it's integrative, like both. So definitely there's a lot of work on that area. But then also I know that, I guess what's unique about the book is that I know that there's things like that are outside that if you don't fix, it's not gonna, it's gonna still bother you in some type of way, and not like in a vain type of way. But I'll give you an example. So when I was younger, I really struggled with hair on my body. I was like really embarrassed about it. And when I was like in elementary school grade, I would get teased about it. And it was very, when I was there, I was like, oh, telling off the boys, whoever would tell me about it. But then secretly in my home, when I would look in the mirror, I really thought like, dang, you know what, Stacy, you're hideous. Like no one's going to ever like you. No one's going to ever love you. Like you're really hideous. And to tell myself that, like wake up in the morning and as a little girl, like tell myself that almost every day, it was really debilitating when I was trying to have a relationship at, when I'm a little older. Even though those little things, you're so young and you make up those decisions, it's really, like there's a lot of healing that needs to happen over the time. And even though that's something so minute, like, fast forward when you wax and when you like take care of yourself, you feel way more confident than having it,
Yeah.
It's part of like dealing with those struggles that the decisions, because like the decisions weren't on the outside. So me saying I'm hideous, that wasn't on the outside of my body, right? That was the inside. That's my heart. Those are things that need healing. But also I can take care of it, and I can, there's so many things to do. And also, people that don't know what they can do for stuff like that, that's kind of how I got into the beauty industry, because I was interested in making people feel confident on the outside. But I know that part of like the hideousness or the, the healing that needs to takes place on the inside. So once you do both, you do feel unstoppable, because you really can match who it is that you're on the outside. So, and then that vulnerability of being able to share my story and being able to, I guess relate to someone that has those same struggles, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of, there's the real transformation there, like being able to connect to people on a different level.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, I think every woman suffers through that, like at some point, or
right? Yeah.
At, whatever level. I mean, I don't care if you say you're like the most confident woman in the world, you're not. There's always some insecurity there. So that's great that you're doing that. And we need more people like that, where, just giving advice and like showing your story and say, hey, I can do it. You can do it too. And just empowering other women.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And do you want to talk to us about Exalt Her? How did you come up with that name and how did you come up with that concept?
Yeah. So I guess it's a two-part. Oh, actually, I'll read this. It's just a quick little verse. And when I was figuring out like what it is I want to call my blog or my post or even just what I want to do, I still kind of like just kept on struggling with that. Although I had this little post on my, I was just thinking about words that help you emerge. Like, how do you just be who you are? And Exalter just kept on coming to me, and I don't know why. And I just used it for now. But then randomly, I saw this King James version of a little script from Proverbs 4:8, and it says, "Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her."
I love that.
Really didn't. Yeah, thank you. I was like, I really didn't like. I got that, and then I knew that it meant some type of like honor for your husband too. Like your husband, once he exalts her, he has like, he brings him glory, it brings him honor, and all of those things. But then when I kept reading it, I realized that, you know what? Wait a minute. It can literally be for man or woman or for themselves, right? Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. Once you bring yourself, like you honor yourself, you exalt her, meaning like you emerge everything there is, like then you can be promoted, you can be honored because you have done the work of bringing yourself out. So I really just like honed in on that. And that's kind of my message. And the reason why, and like I was talking about, the deepest struggles is what we like have to share later on is that so when I finally got into my relationships as an adult, I thought I dealt with all of those things and you think it's on your own, but I realized that I had so much insecurity going into my first love or my first relationship. And I was with a guy for about 2 years. And we were, got into an argument one day. And I had went to see him, which was like 2 hours out. He was like far away at the time. And when I came back, and we knew each other's families, we met each other's family and so on. But when I left from his place that evening, and we had gotten into that little argument about a girl, and when I left, I literally never talked to him again. Like he did not answer the phone. He didn't. He didn't say goodbye. He didn't say that was the last time he was going to see me. He literally just stopped answering the phone. And after being with him for 2 years, he was a little older than me. I was like, what happened? Why isn't he not answering the phone? There was like no way of getting in contact with him again. Anyway, because I literally couldn't find him. And like what they say is rejection breeds obsession. So I was just like obsessed, not necessarily with him, but like what happened, obsessed to trying to figure out like what happened. What did I do wrong? I replayed every single thing. I was heartbroken. And then it just magnified my insecurities about myself and who I am like tenfold. Like, that's where I got into just thinking like, oh, maybe it is because that little girl decided she's hideous. Maybe it is because I'm hideous. Maybe it is because I'm not enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not funny enough. I'm not everything that I could have questioned about myself and my body. And that's where I was. I went into deep, like a deep hole. And I really wasn't at that time, there wasn't a lot of social media. There wasn't a lot of access to anyone. And actually like one of my school counselors in college, she's the one that started like helping me. And then that's when I started doing the work. I was always very ambitious career wise, and I was always reading self-development books. So I just started changing over to, how can I figure out like how to feel more beautiful, more confident, like what's wrong with me, like turning to God, all of these different things. And that's led me to, got to a good place where I was like, okay, kind of ready to like date again. And also, I had taken seminars and so on. And I just did a lot of work, and it was out of necessity. If I did not do it, I literally wouldn't be here today, because I was that much in a hole of depression and anxiety. But, somehow I emerged with the strength of like God and everything else. And the hard part is that when I was finally ready to get back in relationships, which was 5 years later, the next relationship I had lasted for 4 years, but it ended up being very toxic and a lot of infidelity, a lot of questioning of who I was again. And it was just on another level. And that person didn't necessarily leave me. He kind of like was lingered around, but also had these other relationships. And it was just another time of really another deep dive. So trying not to get into the story way too long. Sorry, Anel.
It's okay. It's okay. No, share as much as you want.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, so what I really realized is that out of that relationship is actually where I learned so much, and I'm so grateful for it now. And what I realized is two of the biggest things that if you don't take anything from this podcast today, these are the biggest things that I would love for someone to walk away with is one, we think that the decisions that we made, if we can go back and do something else, that we would have changed it. But the truth is that we would not have, because we made decisions on the knowledge and the experience that we had at that time. So we only think that we were going to change it because we're now looking from ourselves and looking back.
Because we learned.
Yeah, because we learned. But if we were back in that same situation, we would have made the same decision we made. So to give yourself grace and give yourself forgiveness for the decisions that you made, and also for the people that had made those decisions with you. So that's funny how you talked about chapter 1. That's one of the biggest things is like forgiveness. And what I realized is out of this relationship, I could have villainized this person, which I still have love for. I wish him so well. And we had so much learning in our relationship, but it was very hard during that time. And I could have villainized for all the things that I said that he did, and he did this and it hurt me and blah, blah, blah. But what I realized is that he was also in a relationship with an unconfident woman, because if I left him at the first maybe betrayal or the first thing that was the first incident, then our love story would have been like, oh, I dated this guy once for a couple of months and this is what happened. And we ended the relationship, as opposed to we were together for 4 years and this and this and this happened and I was this and this and this, so it's a totally different experience. So I knew that also I was enabling him in a way to be someone that maybe he wasn't proud to be either. So being able to let that go and also get to the place of ownership, that's where you find your power. And that's what I love sharing, and helping other women to get to a place so then they can move on and also, like I said, attract everything that's meant for them. So now fast forward, I'm engaged and I have a beautiful son, and it's exciting. And yes, it takes some work to get to that place. So that's what the book is about. A lot of the secrets and tools that I use to really get to that place. So.
Yeah. So you said about, taking ownership about your decisions and not regretting, what you did. I think that's key. Like not, how do I put it? Like how you said if you went back, like you wouldn't change anything. Like even though now you say, yes, I would change, this and that, or I would change my decision making. But, now, like you're saying, like you say that now because you learn from it. Yeah, so never, I guess never regret the learning experiences you went through, because they're just that, learning experiences. And, just forgive yourself and give yourself grace, because without those experiences, you wouldn't be who you are now.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what else do you want to tell us about your book? So you spoke about forgiveness, forgiving the other person and forgiving yourself. Yeah. But, what else can we find in your book?
Yeah. So you know what? Just kind of staying on the topic of just like owning your power. So that's the biggest thing about one of the promises I have is turning your pain into power, and really finding what that is. And so you're able to move with it and finding your purpose in a way. But so that's one thing. That's kind of like a separate note. But that's a huge thing you'll find in like chapter 1 and really like getting started with the book. And one thing that I really talk about is tolerate versus your forgiveness. And and condoning versus tolerate. So when you are forgiving someone, it doesn't mean that you tolerate the actions that they did. And the same thing for yourself. It doesn't mean that you would do that again, or that that's the way that you want it to be. It literally is just letting it go for the time and the space that it was. And knowing that forgiveness is for you and not for it is for the other person, but it's more for you than anything else. I think I have a quote in there, Anel. It says like, unforgiveness is like drinking poison and hoping that your enemy will die. And that was by Joyce Meyer. And I love her. She's amazing.
Yes. I remember watching one of her sermons, and she was talking about that. And she literally brought out, two, I guess, like bottles or something. And I don't know, she was just like describing it, like, I guess with physical examples. And like, it just made sense. When you don't forgive, it's because you're not hurting the other person, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think that's a great place to start. And then, and just as far as like, other things that you can find in my book, one of the, it's talking about insecurities, honing in on just the same things that I was telling you, like finding out what it is, the decisions that you made when you were younger that you can really target and figure out how to help those emerge and release those. So that way you can create something totally new and different in your life. It's also about like finding blind spots that, for me, I had like a recipe for relationships that wasn't working. And sometimes it is your recipe. So finding what those things are that, your conditioning of what you always see, that you can lift up and change your filter in which you see other people. And once you see, you can't unsee. And what I'd love is for people to, hone into their life with people that they really love and attract the love that really like fulfills them in the deepest parts. So just how to be loved. And then also you can find some beauty tips. One of the chapters is about intoxicating beauty. Like, what's the secret to intoxicating beauty? So you can find that in the book. I'm not going to tell you what that is now here. So that is an amazing chapter. And then lastly, there is the chapter on like some resources. So like talking about laser hair removal, talking about beauty blender, which is like a sponge. A sponge, but it actually helps you to look like it's not photoshopped. What is it? Airbrushed. It has like an airbrushed look that people don't even know, and it's totally worth the money that it is. So they think it's just like a little sponge that doesn't do anything, but it really is really amazing. And just like little secrets like that people don't know, like how to put on your eyelashes. I know there's tons of music YouTube videos, but it actually is really easy. People don't know that they just need to wait like a little 20 seconds before they put on their eyelash. Mm-hmm. And that little tip makes a huge difference. I remember like I kept on like, trying to put it on my eye, and it's always messed up. But if you just wait a little while, let the glue get tacky, you can actually position it so much easier. So just little beauty tips like that can help out on the outside too. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's something that like in 5 minutes you can like up your look, right?
Yeah.
Like lashes on any day can just like you throw on, and actually it's like it can up your look.
Yeah. Like even if you don't wear anything else, like any like makeup with just eyelashes. That makes a big difference. Yeah. For me, I don't wear fake eyelashes unless like, it's like, I don't know, a wedding or something. An event. But if sometimes I don't feel like putting on makeup, but I just put some mascara and that's it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then you know what? There's eyelashes that look very natural too, that just give you a little boost. Yeah. And then there's eyelashes that give you like a dramatic look, and great for events or stuff like that. So like you said, even with mascara, like good mascara can like really do the trick too. So yeah.
Yeah, you just have to find the one that works for you.
Yeah. And lastly, kind of like the last chapters are really just about unleashing and emerging, and how to do that when you like for me, especially in my first relationship, I had like no closure at all. There's like no way of me getting any closure, and me like sometimes we look for that other person for a validation to be like, okay, so we're okay now. So it's like really finding that place by yourself on your own when there's like literally no way of getting what it is that you want, no way of closure, no way of things completing, no way, but finding a way out of no way, and using your adversity for your advantage. So that's what it's about.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're
I
welcome.
know a lot of women are going to be inspired by it. I know I have because I've had similar stories and, things that maybe I haven't forgiven, but I think it's time to forgive and move on and, unleash my beauty.
Yes, unleash everything you are, and you're so beautiful. And I'll thank you. And you know
Thank
what?
you.
I guess I'll say here, like, I'm just so happy for our friendship. We've known each other for probably over a decade too now.
Yeah.
And that's how we met, and just like, I guess our mutual love for church and God and everything, but also just like on a, deep level of like wanting to empower women, wanting to be around that. And you've always been that way, very beautiful, like you're beautiful being, everything, like very
Oh, thank
sweet,
you.
very gracious, like, and inspiring. And I'm so excited about you doing this podcast too, because I mean, the brave in her, it's super cool. Like the title, everything is amazing. So I'm here for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any advice that you want to give to that woman that it's listening and it's going through, what you went through?
Yeah. So I guess one thing to look at is like a good thing or something that really helped me was like journaling. So that's one thing of just like actually releasing the thoughts that's in your head if it's going over and over and over. Like journaling is such a great way to release. If it's not journaling for you, maybe it's like running or just doing something that releases. But journaling is great because you actually can get your thoughts on a page and it can be like released. So that's a great thing. And then the second thing is, and if you don't know how to do that, for sure, reach out to me. I would love to, tell you how, or, especially if you don't. Another thing is just honing on what those actual, like really, like when you're by yourself, the thoughts that you have, like literally making a list of them, like your negative thoughts. One thing is like, I'm not good enough, or I'm too, I have too much hair on my body, or whatever the thing is. And then also, what I do is like one of my first sessions is power affirmations, like literally thinking about what it is that's like the truth, but opposite. So like something I'm not enough. The opposite could be like something like, you know what, I'm uniquely me and no one else is like me. So two things about that. One thing is that you don't want to just say I am enough, because even though you do want to remind yourself that you are enough, you want to just make sure that you believe it. So if you're feeling like you're not enough right now, saying that you are enough won't make you like believe it, won't make you like, won't plant those seeds that it is that you need. You do want to get there, but what is the truth that you can focus on that can help you get there? So a truth that you can focus on is you're uniquely you. Like you cannot get out of that language of you are uniquely you. So when you're believing that and knowing that you bring something different to the table than anybody else in this world, that's the thought and the affirmation that you want to focus on and plant. So one of the chapters is about planting. So what we are doing is like, think about it as two plants. We're planting on one side everything that we want and everything that we don't want, right? But what plant is growing more? So that thought of you like not being enough, you're like keep on feeding it because you're feeding that thought over and over and over. But how can you plant this other thought? This other plant is just like dwindling away and it's like nothing is going on. So the easiest way for you to, kill something off is not feed it. So you don't want to feed it. Don't feed that negative side so much. Let's figure out how to keep on feeding that positive side and that thing about you that can keep on emerging. And that's what it is, building the muscle and feeding it more. And this other thing will start dissipating. So
I
hope
love
that
that.
helps. And
yes, yeah. I love that. Yes, I love that. It's so great. Yeah. Yeah. Just feeding that positive, positive thoughts and positive affirmations and not necessarily ignoring the negative thoughts, but like you said, not feeding them.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're going to arise and that's human. That's the humanness of us. And just to let it know that it'll come.
Yeah. Or overpowering them with the positive.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then lastly, do you want to talk to us about your course?
Yes.
Reclaim Your Reign?
Yes, Reclaim Your Reign. So it's like, reclaiming your crown or getting back on your crown. So it's about confidence and the same thing, everything that we're talking about right now, it's a deep dive into what that is and actually practically like practicing it in life. So it's an 8-week course. And it's really a deep dive into these principles that I have in Exalter. So Exalter is a great way to begin and reclaim your reign. It's funny. It's kind of a play on words too, because it's about reign, like, you're actually suffering and your pain. So it's about reclaiming those things and using it for power. So that's what it is. It's about healing heartbreak or healing the things in your body and soul that's been hurting since maybe you were younger. It's about emerging who you are. Shattering insecurities. So that's a big thing. And turning your pain into power and inviting the love that you have or want in your life to really appear. So that can be about loving yourself and getting all your goals. Like, if you're really ambitious, reflecting those things back to you, or also just finding the love or attracting the love that you want in your life to finally emerge. So that's really what the program is. So what we do is, we meet weekly by like a live coaching. So it's a live coaching group session, and so I'm offering women to come into my group and mentoring them there. And I've gotten some great responses so far. I'm really excited about it. And like my goal is to literally change 100 women's lives this year. So
yay,
that's my goal. Mm-hmm.
And so how can someone find more information about this? Where can we find you? On social media, website?
Yeah, so I'm probably the most active in my Instagram right now. So Instagram is at Exalter. So it's EXALT_her, HER. And that's probably the most place that you can find me. Usually my links are there. Oh, and right now, right now you can actually go on my website, exalter.com. If you do download the book, if you purchase the pre-order of the book, you get 2 things. You get a book for free, the download automatically, and then you will get your hard copy later. And you also get a consultation with me, 1 hour to deep dive and talk about these things, anything personal to you right now. So I can only offer that in the beginning because I hope to have a lot more coming. But and then I also have my program going on. But right now, if you do purchase the book, you do get a 1 hour session with me. So I would love to talk personally with you of how you can really hone in on these things and invite you for the program if you're interested in that. But really getting a chance to, dive into what's going on with you personally. So that's available on my website. So that's www. I'll have to link it to you. But anyway, it's
yes, we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll put it on the show notes and all the information on how you can find her. Well, thank you so much, Stacy, for sharing your story and inspiring us.
Thanks, Anel, for having me. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode inspired you. If you like this podcast, please share on social media and tag me on Instagram at @TheBraveandHer. I would love to hear your stories of bravery.